to speak.
So next we've got the Cass Bay Residents Association, and I'm advised that Jeremy Webb is here in place of Jenny Healy. So Jeremy, thank you for joining us this morning for the Cass Bay Residents Association.
Right, thank you. So I'm presenting the submission in place of Jenny Healy and on behalf of the Cass Bay Reserves Management Committee and Residents Association. I also want to acknowledge the great work Jenny and other volunteers do on behalf of the community before getting started. So anyway, the Cass Bay Reserves Management Committee and Residents Association wish to remind the Council that the Port Hills are one of Christchurch's biggest natural assets. It is a place that supports active communities, enhancing the health and well-being of its residents by providing an environment that promotes walking, running, cycling and other recreational activities. For approximately 15 years, the Cass Bay community, as well as Banks Peninsula and Christchurch City residents, have been locked out of the area called Steadfast, which has now been designated as a park. We see this as a Christchurch City Council asset that is being wasted. Before amalgamation, Steadfast was used by locals for walking, riding ponies, and was a venue for the community preschool group, as the Banks Peninsula District Council had purchased it using money from the reserves account for such use. A variety of community groups see there being huge potential for use of the site, and there is willingness to work on necessary projects. We would like to see a walking track to the summit that would complete the Littleton Loop, providing a wonderful circuit along the Summit Road back down the Littleton via the bridle path and back to the head-to-head track to Cass Bay, or alternatively link the harbour to the sea, linking up also with Rapaki to the city. Early in 2010, the Council consulted on a plan to develop this, and there have been at least 2 suggested track lines drawn up by organisations in the past, also taking into account rockfall, is my understanding. The Whakaora Healthy Harbour project has identified the stream running through Steadfast as a suitable to be the first use riparian planting of natives to reduce sedimentation of Littleton Harbour. The native little banded kakapo comes up the stream to spawn, one of only a few places where this happens. And this planting project, which will start in July, will also increase the return of indigenous flora and fauna by increasing biodiversity of habitat. Lincoln and Canterbury University wish to support this project with students, including from Frontiers Abroad, wanting to study the area, which is also of geological and historical significance. This will offset the costs involved in developing the plans for the site. The Navy cadets currently use some of the buildings, which they wish to raise funds and repair. The future native planting to regenerate native flora and fauna and bring back birdsong to Cass Bay. We have recently started to get bellbirds, tuis, kiriru back after 20 years of community planting and regeneration of local reserves. Opening up Steadfast could provide exciting new opportunities for active ecotourism. It would also allow access for fire protection, pest control and a local civil defence hub. We ask for the Council support for Steadfast being opened up again to the public and eventually to be gazetted as a reserve, whether it be a historical or recreational, as seen to be most fitting by the Council. To achieve this, the Cass Bay Reserves Management Committee has been told that Steadfast needs to be incorporated into the Port Hills plan, which we appreciate may now be some time away, being developed due to the current economic situation. But a development plan for the area would be a good process to start off. Though we appreciate that there are currently a number of challenges to public access, there are other areas which are open to the public with similar problems. We would like these matters to be reviewed with determination to find solutions, given the value of the asset which is not being properly utilised. We also appreciate that the Parks team may not currently have sufficient budget to cover any work, but the cost could be minimised by volunteer effort, using available skills and perhaps even commercial sponsorship for carbon credits. The Reserves Management Committee has recorded hundreds of hours of community effort in the past year alone. For instance, the Cass Bay community has vastly improved the lower walking tracks in the bay by adding gravel, improving drainage so that it can be used year-round, and have planted thousands of trees, native trees over the years. The Cass Bay Reserves Management Committee and Residents Association asked this Christchurch City Council support that Steadfast be again accessible and enjoyed by our community and the greater public of Christchurch. The Cass Bay Reserves, one last thing, okay, 25 seconds. The Cass Bay Reserves Committee thank the Christchurch City Council for the new toilet block at our playground. It's a much needed facility and very much helps both with the residents but more particularly for the many visitors that come from the wider Christchurch catchment. Though we appreciate this, we'd like to see the playground upgraded. There's been some level of vandalism, and also we really see a need to improve access for others that may not be for the disabled and others who may not be able to enjoy it as much as other kids, basically. So, and this is aligned with your policies. So thank you very much. Cheers.
And thank you very much for joining us this morning, and thanks for the work that both of the groups that you're representing are doing in Cass Bay. Thanks very much indeed. Thank you.